Hey there everyone, this is Sabrina from Live Through This. Today we have Silas Howard, filmmaker, writer, and musician. And Silas is about to talk about his submission to the book. Hi Silas.
Hi.
How are you?
Am I looking at you or am I looking at the camera?
You can look at whatever you want.
Hello. Hello, great big wide world. You're talking about a part in the book where I say I'd gone through hard experiences as a child and that I started to identify with all the bad things that happened to me, as though I were those things. And you asked me about when I stopped feeling that. And I think that, the story, the essay I have in this is called Friends as Heroes. And in San Francisco, around the mid-90s, a bunch of us were inspiring each other and sort of like this group of outsiders. We were sort of the outsiders of the outsiders because we didn't fit into a gay mainstream. We didn't fit into a mainstream. We were this ragtag group of queer punks or just misfits. And I think that around the time that I met the two friends I talk about in this book, that I started to hear stories that were like mine, and that spark of recognition is where I realized, like, oh, these things happened to me, I didn't cause them, and it's such a basic thing, but when you actually feel that, or you meet people that have been through that kind of experience, it really breaks through that isolation, and it's a profound change. And then you realize that you can actually talk about these things, you can make art inspired by some of these painful places, and you can start to transform that stuff into ways to reach people and sort of bring light into things that might have been really difficult. So.
Can you talk about, well, I guess you did just talk about the importance of an artistic community.
Yeah.
And you came in from a really DIY one, like in San Francisco, where you guys were all just helping each other out.
We really were.
Yeah.
Well, Kovic, there's a mentor to a lot of us in San Francisco, which is Chris Kovic. And Chris died 2003, 2002 of cancer. And Chris used to curate shows at a cafe that Harry Dodge and Lori Hartman and myself owned. And Chris decided that Chris wanted to have part of this community that we were doing. And even though maybe Chris was like 10 years older than us, was like, just marched in and was like, I'm doing shows for you guys. And thank God, because we were pretty morose as a bunch of people. We were like, it was just that stage of like, making art, but maybe like therapy would have been good to do as well. But just like a lot of exploring work, but Chris was bringing this sense of humor to the pain that we were all connecting with, and I think that was like a huge deal. And the other thing that Chris did was create this these shows where there would be really experienced writers and filmmakers and musicians, and then brand new ones all in the same room. And so it created this like experience to reach for, people that have had some experience with their craft, whatever that was, and then brand new people with that like exciting voice of someone who's not aware of what you're supposed to or not supposed to do. And Chris put it really well, which is we were allowing each other to be the important person in the room, and we were sort of taking turns. And I don't know, it just started this energy of a lot of things happening there, a lot of music, and a lot of everyone was just setting up venues and spaces and starting bands, and yeah, it was really fun. Yeah, it was a good time. Because
it's a really short essay that we sort of cleaned it up in terms of like making it like, oh, we were having problems like getting high, and then we decided to get sober, and then we made art, and it's a very clean transition. But can you talk about maybe something that was left out of the essay, or I mean it wasn't as easy as that, or maybe?
Yeah. Well, I think for me, like a lot of us were not sober, but there was a good portion of us that were getting clean. And by not sober, I mean they were just normal drinkers. They didn't have any problem with drugs or alcohol. But for myself and for the key people that I got sober with, it was really like that had to happen first before I could dare to express myself and dare to fail sometimes and dare to like you know, go from huge dreams to actually like the nuts and bolts of trying to put together a story. And so I think that did take time. I mean, one of the things that we did is Harry and I had this cafe with Lori, and we would curate shows. So we were like, artists need deadlines, and I talk about that in the essay, and it's important. But the truth is, like, we really wanted to do stuff and weren't. And finally, Chris did this benefit to give me money to get this gold tooth right here, and it was like a tooth fairy benefit. But I mean, Chris was just so awesome because she didn't even say that. It was just like, I'm gonna give you the people just pay $5 for the door. It's not like it has to be announced as a big benefit. It's a show. But anyway, she asked Harry and I to perform in it, and it was the first time either of us read. And it was really exciting. So I think that it was this long road, and you sort of move near the things you want to do, and sort of bask in the light of it until you can, dare to go closer to it. But I know also with my band, it was really the singer and I. It was a lot about getting clean in order to actually be able to make noise, and make music, and take those kind of risks. So I don't know if that answers the question. But.
Can you talk for a second? I mean, when you're first finding like art and film in order to, deal with this sort of restless energy that you had because now, you weren't drinking, and, well, you were making art then, but now you just make art almost full time. It's your life. It's not, you know what I mean?
It's my life. It doesn't, there's not like a lot of security with it. It's a super big hustle, kind of like it was. I mean, in a way, I had more security back then because I had my cafe and we all worked at the cafe. But it's true, I have like, having the cafe, getting sober was this huge confidence booster, and then having a business work was this other thing. And so each thing led to the next in order to go, I went to school just recently and got my MFA, and that also helped. That was, for me, growing up pretty working class, that felt like a big deal to do that, and it felt like, it's hard to take up, it's hard to be like, creativity is important in this society. Unfortunately, other societies, really can do that, but here it's everything's so fucking commodity based that it's like, unless art has some commercial value, it's just not taken seriously. And so I think it's really difficult to make it a focus and to say, I'm going to do this and there's no plan B, this is the thing that I'm going to do. I think that's a pretty difficult choice to make for most people, understandably so, But it kind of takes that sometimes to be able to put that kind of focus on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.